Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again, here to talk to you about my last week of training, aka dealing with post-meet depression. Yes, I know it's very true because you just got done laying it all out there on the line, both literally and figuratively, because let's be honest, going into meet wearing a spandex singlet, taking a bunch of caffeine, which in theory is a good idea to get you jacked up, but then realizing, of course, later that caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, and again, factoring that in the fact that you're wearing spandex, you better hope that you're a shower and not a grower. Because you can't be growing at those things, if you know what I'm saying. So you gotta be showing. Usually, you can grow and show, doesn't really matter. Getting off on a little bit of a tangent. That's okay. But as part of this, I like to talk about what I'm going to do post-meet, what I'm going to do as far as my training goes, give you guys a little bit of insight into my fucked up mind. So as you know, as part of my training program, it's a 9-week training cycle followed by a 3-week peaking phase. The last week, of course, of that peaking phase is a deload week. You then have your meet, mock meet, test your strength, whatever it is you want to do if you're running my program. And then what I would suggest is following that, take another deload week because laying it all out there definitely takes a lot out of you. So maxing in those 3 lifts, I like to go ahead and take a deload week the following week, exactly the same as in the peaking cycle. So 2 training days, each day you both squat, deadlift, and bench 3x3s at 50%. Kind of active recovery, but at the same time not to training. In the past, I would take the whole week off, and that just really fucked me up. I'd come back to the gym the next week thinking I was refreshed, but in all honesty, I felt pretty shitty because that rust builds up quick. So that's what I did this week, a deload. However, today I was lucky enough to be joined by KP Fitness. So KP Fitness made up of 2 individuals, Lakshmi and Kunal. I actually trained with Lakshmi in the past. Kunal made it down this time. They were visiting from Massachusetts. I think they're actually in Miami right now. So I was lucky enough to get some training in with them, and I really appreciate them kind of catering what they were going to do in the gym to my pitiful deload training cycle, because let's be honest, I'm an old man stuck in my ways and I just really had to get it in. As much as I wanted to push it this day, I feel like I could. I know this deload is going to be important to me, especially going forward. So what we did, as mentioned already, we got some squatting in, we got some benching, and we got some deadlifting in. Again, these are 2 great individuals. If you guys haven't heard of them already, I'm going to link their channel in the description box below. Please be sure to check them out. I always like training with other people, especially when they have channels as well, because as you guys know, I don't have very many friends, especially with some of the things I say here on the YouTubes. I have a little bit of tendency to talk shit. So when I can meet up with anybody and have a good time, train, and just talk training, it's gonna be a good time. And today was no different, and plus they brought me Pop-Tarts as a gift, so I really can't complain. And as part of this, for anyone that really comes and trains with me, usually as long as time allows, I will try to take you out for food. I will take you to my favorite place, Gansett Wraps, which I've shown you many times on this channel, and I plaster it all over my Instagram. Probably one of the best food spots in South County, Rhode Island. So that is some extra incentive if anyone's thinking about coming on down or coming up or whatever on a Tuesday. I digress a little bit, but we got a lot of good training in, and it kind of worked out well because what they were training in terms of, they typically train more in a bodybuilding style, so a little bit lighter weights for higher reps, which kind of coincided nice with my deload cycle working with 50%, so we didn't really have to alter the weights too much. We trained on the same squat rack, so adjusting the squat rack for Lakshmi was a little bit interesting, but we managed to get through. And again, big props for them to coming down and actually hanging out with me. And again, if you haven't subscribed to them, I mentioned they're in the description box below, but if you watch some of the other channels, they were at FitCon, I think the last 2 years, so you might have recognized them in the past. But again, big props to them. Overall, it was a very interesting day. I decided to kind of work a little bit heavier than I should on my squats. I was feeling pretty good. I ended up working up to a beltless triple of 405. Again, really trying to hold back until next week when I'll jump right back into a training cycle. On bench, didn't work up past 225, and on deadlifts, 315, but everything was feeling pretty good. And that's one of the things that I've really liked about these last couple of meets I've done in the past. They have just wrecked me, but I think part of that was I would take the week prior off and the week after off, and like I said, that rust for me builds up pretty quick. So these deload weeks, while not optimal in my mind, saying, you know, I'd rather just take time off or really start to push it again, they really do help me as an active recovery week. So if you're not doing deloads, I think they're very important. They should be built into any good training program because in the end, they will pay off for you. But other than that, we were just talking training the whole time. So again, got some good stuff in. My plans going forward are going to be a little bit different. I don't plan on competing again until probably towards the end of the year. I'd like to get some more training under my belt. I want to focus on doing more of a volume style training, only because the past 6 months or so, since the start of 2015, I've focused a lot on pure strength training, and while that's great, I understand that I've tried to do that in the past, and I can't last as long as I used to, friends. My stamina is not where it once used to be, so I'm gonna back off and do some volume work and also work on some other weak points. So that means changing up some of my main compounds and doing variations, meaning you will see me start pulling some sumo, and you will see me start doing some more high bar squats. I think these assistance movements technically will end up translating very well to my main preferred competition style of low bar and conventional, just because my hips are a weak point. I need some Shakira in my life because my hips, my friends, are lying. They say I can do something, and once I start trying, they hurt real bad. So I'm looking forward to getting some work in. I haven't really pulled sumo in a long time or squatted high bar in a long time, so it's gonna be rough at first. So if you like or dislike me in this case, make sure you watch those videos because it will look pathetic and sorry and sad, and I'll be bitching a lot, and it's a perfect time for you to come and talk some shit about me. Kick me while I'm down, please. I beg of you. But that's my plan, at least up until the wedding. So my wedding's in September, so about 3 months away. That also kind of throws a little bit of wrench into if I wanted to compete in nationals, which I did qualify for the USAPL. That's in the middle of October. The problem is, like I mentioned in my last video, I believe, I'm getting married that first weekend of September, then going away on a honeymoon for about 10 days. The problem is I will be out of the gym for roughly 2 weeks, maybe even 3. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. And that would only really give me like a 6-week training cycle. I don't think that's effective, although I could still go lift at nationals. I'd really rather just get better and get primed. So we'll probably be looking at competing again maybe in November or December, really depending on what's available in my area. I think one of you mentioned that there's a USAPL meet in Boston in December. That might work out well. But again, I'm not opposed to any other federations. My main criteria about where I compete is how close it is to me, and does it meet with my timelines in terms of training, meaning can I get a good training cycle in beforehand? So I don't care the federation, I don't play any favorites. I just want to get a stupid little trophy to make myself feel better about wearing a singlet in public. So that's going to wrap up the video, but one last reminder, I've partnered with NASM, the National Academy of Sports Medicine, to offer a free 2-week trial of their services. So if you want to become a certified trainer and make some money out of fitness, it's a great opportunity to do so. The link will be in the description box below if you're interested for that free 2-week trial. In the meantime though, as always, thanks for watching, stay big, and check out KP Fitness. Thanks everybody.